Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Wawarsing. I'm your host Donald, and today's show features Astor services for children and families. Can you guys please introduce yourselves?
I'm Stephanie. I have a master's in marriage and family therapy, and I will be coming on board as a clinician.
I'm Jennifer Stimpson, the clinic supervisor here in Ellenville, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor.
Thanks for being here. So to start off, can you just tell me a little bit about what Astor offers in Ellenville particularly?
Sure, we do individual and family therapy. We have psychiatrists, and sometimes we have group therapy also. We work with anxiety, PTSD, depression, pretty much whatever's going on that's interfering with clients' lives.
Gotcha. So how do I know if therapy would be helpful for my child or family?
So a good indicator is if there are issues interfering with everyday life, with school, home, relationships, mood, or a normal routine. That's a pretty good indicator.
Gotcha.
And sometimes there's feelings of loss. It could be a loss of hope or safety, or just a loss of feeling like you're in control.
Gotcha. So what can I or others expect on their first visit?
So the first visit is the intake process.
And it starts at the desk when you come in. There is some paperwork to fill out, but it's just, and then it's to help get to know you and what your needs are.
Yeah.
And then you'll see a therapist.
And it's usually for 45-minute sessions.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 sessions usually get the job done, right? And it's just about planning and understanding each other's needs and, getting to know the family and the client.
And creating goals.
Gotcha. And what makes the therapy process successful?
Well, therapy is based on relationship, so a sense of trust with your therapist, having clear goals, and being honest with what's working and what's not working, and knowing that you're feeling like you're getting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And also, some sessions are about 45 minutes, if that, and hopefully we can see our clients once a week, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So just remembering that a lot of the therapy work is being done outside of the room with the client and their families.
That's right. I like to tell my clients that it's their work, the therapy is their work, and we're just helpful in giving them ideas or new ways of looking at things and trying new things, really.
Another question is, who decides the goals of therapy?
Good question. Well, we decide them together. Really, it's what's going to make a change for the client, make their life, their relationships, their education, schooling, being able to pay attention, what's going to make that easier and better. So the goals, pretty much when someone comes in, they have an idea of what they want to work on. And then with the therapist, we're going to kind of narrow that down into a 3-month treatment plan so we can hopefully see some movement in that 3 months. But the treatment plan is also reviewed by my supervisor or a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not seeing the doctor, he's gonna review the treatment plan also. But the goals really come from the client.
What if someone feels like what you're doing during a therapy session isn't quite right, or makes them feel uncomfortable, or it's not helpful?
So you speak with your therapist first and foremost, because it is a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is set in stone. It is a relationship where both people are involved and everybody kind of has a say in the room.
Mm-hmm. We would definitely want to know if what we're doing doesn't feel right, or you're having trouble trying it. I mean, and if you just don't like us, you can tell us. I mean, we can work with it. It's funny, but it's also something. It happens. We're people, and we're open to positive. Making changes and constructive criticism, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Could you give me a few examples of what you do in therapy throughout the sessions?
Well, a big part of it is working with the families, and that kind of also means parenting skills. And so kind of learning how to maintain boundaries and maybe even incorporating behavior charts, whatever works towards the goal in terms of parenting skills and kind of getting the family involved.
Yep. So the clinicians all have different styles. We use a lot of cognitive behavior therapy, which is changing our thoughts, the way thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are connected. We have a little picture we made. I don't know who's. And sometimes when we change our thoughts, our behaviors and our feelings change.
Gotcha.
We have an example of that, right?
Yeah, we have a few slides, I know.
Oh, and yes, that would be more DBT, so that's dialectical behavior therapy. There's a lot of grounding exercises with that, kind of coming into what's going on right now rather than worrying about the future or ruminating about the past. But there's so many things you can do if you want to.
Yeah, so an example of a grounding exercise would be to work with the five senses. And so the five senses are what? So it's what you see, what you feel, what you hear, what you smell, and what you taste. So what would be helpful in terms of a grounding exercise would be identifying 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And so this just kind of helps get you back into focus. And you can use this when you're feeling anxious. You can use this when you're kind of feeling angry.
Yeah.
It's a really good way to become mindful again of yourself and the situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Good?
Gotcha. And there's no more slides other than that? So,
No.
Okay, gotcha. So how does somebody know if they no longer need a therapist?
Good question. Well, your goals. I mean, that's what the treatment plan is helping focus on the goals. And then when you're like, well, we met our goals, then you'll know it because your therapist will remind you. Like 3 months ago, you were complaining about this. I'm not really hearing that anymore.
Yeah.
So you get feedback from your therapist when you feel like you can manage the difficult things in life. So we don't have magic wands. We can't make things not happen that are difficult, but we can help teach you to manage them. And basically, you'll know it's done because the feedback you give us, and then we give you feedback.
And how long's the therapy sessions again? Just out of curiosity, like what's the time frame? What's the length usually that a client, you said,
Yeah.
is part of those sessions?
So it depends, right? On
Do you mean
Like
like
what's-
45
what-
minutes?
No, like what's the entire
okay.
length, like start to finish, the
Oh.
process?
So like how long you would be
Yeah.
seeing
Exactly.
a therapist. So that is really situational, right? It really depends on when you've met those goals. And if you have, let's say you met one set of goals, do you have another set of goals that you need to work on too? So it could really depend on,
Varies between
on your current situation along with the family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be a couple months or, even a year. I mean,
And how does someone, if they're seeking therapy, how do they get in contact with you guys? What's the process for that? Oh, it's already up
There
there.
it is, right there.
so
good.
we have walk-in hours, 9 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And our clinic is open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 8. But if you are going to come in for an intake, what we call, or an assessment, that's between 9 and 5. And we don't schedule those typically. You can always call the office if you need to. The appointments, or not appointments, but the intakes are first come, first serve. So it's better if you get there early, and we try to get you in as soon as we can.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to add today to the discussion?
Just want to let everybody know that we're here
Mm-hmm.
and just to take that into consideration whenever needing a little bit of extra help.
Yep. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is up there.
They'll put it up on the screens.
Well, it's here anyway.
And maybe you could read that out loud.
It's jstimpson@astorservices.org, or you
And-
can call the office.
And the phone number is going to be 845-647-3349. And you can also go online to astorservices.org. And again, you can email Jennifer at jstimpson@astorservices.org. So
And
is that
if-
all you guys wanted to add today? Or?
Well, if there is an actual emergency, I mean, absolutely call 911 or go to your nearest hospital. That's it.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Spotlight on Wawarsing. See you next time.